Hey guys, what is up? So I watched the Ace family's Our House story, so you don't have to, and now let's just get right into this 1 hour long video. So Austin and Catherine, they're vacationing right now. They're sitting in like a different home on a couch, and they express that they're not trying to play the victim. And Austin even goes on to say that Catherine is very passionate about this house story topic, so she's going to be doing most of the talking. Now off the bat, you can already sense you're like, yeah. They lost their home, and you know this because of like the mannerisms. They're talking saying I'm nervous, and you can tell, okay, oh shit, they really did lose their home. Now I kid you not, for at least 8 minutes of the video, they don't even talk about the house story. They get into thanking their supporters who stood by them. They talk about the T channels, how we make money off of them, and Catherine even goes on to say that, you know, if we're not addressing a specific situation or scandal right away, it's either because it's not true or they don't want to pay any attention to it. And they even go on to tell their viewers, their supporters, to stop attacking them if they haven't responded to the latest scandal. Before telling us the story, Catherine also wanted us to know that she suffered from like severe PTSD because her house was broken into and she was like 8 months pregnant. That's why her kids still sleep in a bed with her sometimes. Okay, so now we get to the home. So they talk about a contractor who actually was not a licensed contractor but worked for a legitimate company. So when they were thinking about buying a home, Austin saw that there were two homes, two lots, and he talked to this unlicensed contractor about combining the homes. And so it would just be like one nice big house on the hill. Catherine then goes on to say that the only person they really communicated with was this contractor, who completely screwed them over because this contractor had a team of people that were supposed to help them, like the architect, the realtor, etc. And all of those people screwed them over. They go on to say that the architect was horrible and that the realtor was receiving some like backhand commission off of anything they were paying the contractor. Catherine goes on to say that she's not here to play the victim, and she realizes, or I should say Austin and Catherine, they both realize that they hired the wrong people to look over their things. Catherine goes on to say that they made a mistake by going into escrow without having a certificate of occupancy. And now escrow is like when a third party gets involved to handle the money transactions, etc. So they made a huge mistake of putting any money into this home without getting a certificate of occupancy. Now, a certificate of occupancy is when like an inspector from like the city comes in to make sure the stairs are okay, you know, make sure that the pool is okay, make sure the home is just safe to live in. They complained about the plumbing, the pool. Anytime anyone would take a shower, there was actually water leaking from the ceiling. Austin and Catherine both acknowledged that they were never actually legal occupants in their own home. Because they didn't have the certificate, they were having problems with hot water. Like they temporarily had hot water, but they didn't have like just a consistency of hot water in the home. They didn't have gas, and showed us what they used in their home. Catherine then discusses how she kept getting screwed over by the contractor. She paid for a door that was like $45,000, but the contractor was pocketing like thousands and thousands of dollars, and the door was really like $1,000 or $2,000. Austin discusses the pool situation, how there needed to be like a huge wall like under the pool. Like the whole entire pool was built in a way to where it was unsafe, and that's why when he had a jet ski in the pool that, you know, the water should have never gone over to the neighbor's yard. Catherine states, you know, it doesn't matter if Austin's, you know, riding a jet ski in the pool, if it's unsafe, etc., because you should be able to do anything you want in your pool. It was the fact that the pool was built unsafe. They even show us photos where the floors were lifting up. It was raising, it was wobbly every time they were walking on the ground. They didn't have like a steady tile. Catherine even goes on to address the rumors about the Ace family being broke, and she's like, you know, if I'm paying like $45,000 to $50,000 for my garden, if I'm paying $45,000 for a door, then I anticipate on staying here for a very long time. My take on it is if anyone's willing to pay $45,000 for a door, then to me, that's like no money for you. You know what I mean? Like that's like, I get what she's saying, but the poorness in me, I'm like, if I can pay $45,000 for a door, then clearly $45,000 ain't nothing. So then the couple, they jump back to the realtor and how the realtor was shady AF. So when they thought about purchasing the home, they took out a loan. They came across a price that was reasonable for them. The realtor said, I can get you this loan, but then when the realtor came back, their payments of what they wanted to pay each month for this loan end up being double that amount. Catherine starts breaking it down to us and explains that when you normally get a house loan, it's for 30 years, but they got a jumbo loan, which was for 18 months. After those 18 months with a jumbo loan, then that's when you start applying for a new loan, and I guess that's how it works. But the problem is that when they started to apply for a new loan, they didn't have that certificate of occupancy. And no lender wants to give you money for a home that's not even approved for a person, a human being, to live in. Catherine shares with us that she found out about this whole entire foreclosure on social media. She also stated that during the pandemic, they had like 4 inspectors come out, but none of them ever showed up because, you know, their whole entire book apparently was this big. There was so much wrong with the home, apparently. That's what they say. Catherine also shares with us that the moment she found out about her foreclosure on social media and then verified to see if it was actually true, she drove to her brother's house. She just started crying. She's been holding all of the problems in with the home for so long. And she had, you know, her moment where she was just like fed up. And she even started to question, what is weakness? Is weakness responding to this immediately, going on Snapchat crying? Or wait until, you know, I have my feelings together and then respond to this situation at a later time. Austin goes on to say how so many tea channels that were really happy to find out about their foreclosure. They were just talking how people love to hate on them. Then Catherine discusses how the lender who originally gave them the loan for the home ended up buying the home back. So instead of them getting a loan through this same lender, this lender was like, nope, I'm actually going to buy the home back and sell it for a, you know, more expensive price because they got their house appraised and apparently the house was like worth like 16 million and change, etc. So anyways, Catherine's point of sharing that information with us is to let us know that this lender company was shady. The lender company, they didn't care about the Ace family. They cared about making a profit. Austin and Catherine then share with us that if they really wanted the home, when the home was going into foreclosure, they could have paid the money that they needed to in order for the home to be out of foreclosure, but they decided to let the home be, let the home go. They were no longer like emotionally attached to it. The couple then discuss about taking legal action, but the problem with that is that when you're suing someone, they need to have money, right? So we're talking about the contractor, the fake, phony contractor. He was actually in debt. They claimed that it was just going to be a waste of their energy anyways because this unlicensed contractor didn't have any money anyways. Then they also explained that there are currently 2 people suing them right now, but that they have settled with both cases. Catherine and Austin McBroom, they end this video by stating that although they lost millions and millions of dollars in the home, they, you know, decided to just let it go. They bought a new home, which they're really happy with. They plan on buying like 5 more homes within the next 10 years. They want to invest, and they really see this moment to them and to their audience as like a educational moment of things not to do, what not to do. And they do state that they have their certificate of occupancy in their new home. So they learned their lesson. Now here's my opinion. My opinion is that one, at this point, you really do have to question, what do we believe from the Ace family and what do we not believe? Now, I believe there's definitely truth to the story of how things were working right in the home, but essentially, If they hired the right people, like they stated earlier on in the video, then they wouldn't be in the problem that they are in now. I think it's so irresponsible to put millions and millions of dollars into a home and not hire the right people. Like, that's the hugest thing. Like, you don't buy a Mac and not get Apple Care. You know what I mean? So to each their own. I'm not really sure if I completely buy the whole story, because even if they were on a show like Judge Judy, even though the show is completely fake, the cases are real, you know? But even if you went on that show, you know, Judge Judy would be like, did you still live in the home that whole entire time? Them living in the home is kind of like admitting to guilt, or not admitting to guilt, but accepting these flaws in the home. You know, them moving in and living here for so long until the home gets foreclosed. Yes, you guys complained about it, but it wasn't a huge deal until you weren't able to get another loan from the bank. You weren't able to get a lender. That's when the home became now such a huge deal that you don't want to put up with anymore. I also believe that if this contractor was in so much, it was a fake unlicensed contractor, he still worked for a bigger company, so why aren't you suing that bigger company? You know, he didn't just come out of the blue out of nowhere. So leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys think, but that was the video. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Bye, guys.